talk about. So I'm going to call on Governor Beth to welcome us and tell us a few things she wants us to know.
Okay, thank you so much, Carol, and thank you everybody for joining our third Thursday tips and topics. Next month it'll be the third Thursday tips and topics, so it'll be all T's next month. So thank you for joining, and we've got a full program. Just a few opening remarks from me. I'm about 3/4 through the club visits now, and some clubs are doing well taking in members. Some clubs are admitting that they are struggling in getting their membership machine up and running, and about half of our clubs have not taken in a single new member yet this year, which is a little concerning. So my message as I'm out on the road is there's no better time than now to start working on membership, getting some of these things going, such as Discover Rotary, which one of the clubs I was at, the club I was at today is going to have one probably about the middle of November. So it's time to get all of this going in terms of what we're going to do in terms of recruiting. Well, first identifying, recruiting, bringing in, attracting new members, and then working on the retention not only of new members, but also the retention of our existing members. On that point, we had a very successful No Rotarian Left Behind campaign at the beginning of the year to help clubs, help members who were experiencing financial hardship because of COVID or anything really. And we left it up to the four-way test for you to identify and report those to us. Carol and I recognize that there is another bill coming due for Rotary clubs, your second payment to Rotary International for members' dues. It is roughly $40. And so we have some money left over, and we're going to have a second round of No Rotarian Left Behind. It's going to work the same way with just a tiny twist on it, because you're not paying the district money. You're not paying any district dues this quarter, this semi-annual period. And so we will rebate a check for $40 based on the same rules that we had for the first round of No Rotarian Left Behind to clubs that have members. It does not have to be the same member. It can be a different one, or it could be the same member who is still unemployed, still working with 50% business coming into their storefront business, that sort of thing. So about $40 will cover the international dues. I had an assistant governor report to me that one club was in the process of dropping some members so that they could avoid that next semi-annual dues to Rotary International. Please don't do that unless it's somebody that you have not seen for the past 5 years at Rotary. If it's someone where money is an obstacle, use this second round of No Rotarian Left Behind to help, and also look for innovative ways, creative ways within your own club to help them work through this tough financial spot in their lives. So that we'll have something out to our cover this more in our call with presidents on Monday. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to my friend, past district governor and district membership chair, Carol Burdett.
Thank you, Governor Beth, and I appreciate all of the work that you're doing to keep membership in front of all of our clubs. And I just want to remind everyone, I have offered all clubs in the district the opportunity to do the health check with any club, if it's a fairly large club or a large club, doing it with your board, small clubs doing it just with the clubs. If you don't know what needs to be fixed, you can't fix it. And so doing the health check is a way for us to look at ourselves and say, these are the things that we could do differently that would make us more attractive to those that we want to bring into Rotary. I'm very complimentary of the governor for the No Rotarian Left Behind 2.0. I think that is exactly the route we need to take during this period of COVID. Also, I don't want to take Terry's thunder toward the end, but just to say to Renee Stubbs that I am very happy. She and I are talking about the potential creation of a passport club for our district. And I'm really, really excited about that. You'll be hearing more about it in the coming few weeks. And then also, just to throw this out, a club has reached out to me and asked me to do a leadership / team building session with their board. And of course, I'm going to make that heavy on membership, but a lot of other things that we might want to do. So I just got a note from my good friend Faith sitting here asking, and this may be some of you may not know. She knows, she's just prompting me. But what is a passport club? We'll go back to that for just a second. A passport club is a club that is made up of Rotarians that do not meet in person. They do not have service projects or fundraisers, but what they do is, for instance, they may want to come and take part of a project that the Downtown Greenville Club's doing, or the Pleasantburg Club is doing, or Aiken Sunrise is doing, and wherever they are, all of their meetings are virtual, and they in the district that's done this very well has done this really cute passport. It looks just like a passport that we'd have to travel internationally, and they can get clubs to sign off when they do things with them. So it's a really neat concept. We'll be working through some of those details, but I'm excited about that. Before we get into the meat of what we're going to talk about today, the Discover Rotary script, I have a question. You know, we've invited for this every president-elect, and every membership chair. I'm looking at who we have and every AG. We've got some AGs on. The question is, how do we get more people to want to be part of this? And so I'm just going to spend, it is 5:11. I want to spend 3 minutes asking you, how do we get more folks from the clubs to join us for this? And I will be the first to say, yes, I'm sick of Zoom, and it seems like I'm on Zoom every day. But how do we get them excited about learning about the ways we can grow our clubs, and why growing our clubs really is important?
Carol, I'll start. As an AG, one of the things that I normally do that I did not do this week, and I will not say the reason because I'm not going to put out excuses. I normally, as an AG, send out reminders to my club presidents about any emails that you or Beth send. I just send a little text real quick. Hey guys, don't forget. And they'll often send me something back saying, hey, you're right, I almost forgot. And I didn't do that this week. So as an AG, that's something I normally do to increase attendance from Area 8. So just one of my responsibilities as an AG is sending out those reminders so that folks don't get things lost in the sea of emails that come in through the week. And not, I don't mean sea of emails from the district, just meaning as professionals.
Yes.
And Carol, from the Pleasantburg Club, we have a social tonight, so my members are there.
Okay.
Carol, I know Beverly is aware of it, and I said, and you know, we just kind of figured if we didn't both need to be here, that at least one person should be here. So I just figured we'll do that. And then I usually send out a note. Last time I sent out a note of everything we talked about. So.
Okay.
Carol, just for our club, Emerald City, you know, we have gotten together with our committee every week to determine what members need to be contacted by phone, what members need to be contacted by email, what members need to be text, and we're just not to bother them, but to just know that they, you know, are part of the club and are missed. And we also have tried to pull them in. Now we're meeting, and it's been about half and half meeting at the Inn on the Square. So I think we're starting to see, you know, the club pull back together and take more interest in it, because our meetings have been really quality meetings with good speakers. So.
Okay.
But
we've
Carol,
got three new members, and we've got five. We're working.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Carol, do you think it's important that more than one member from a club be at these meetings?
Well, going back, we are inviting the current president, the president-elect, and the membership chair. And one of the reasons is that those three people are a team.
Mhm.
And like you said, you are making notes and you'll go back and talk to your team.
Mhm.
But the deal is that if clubs, if those three people are not on the same page,
Yeah.
thinking about how to grow the club, how to create the culture of growth, then the club is likely only to grow during maybe the really good president.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
And then maybe the next year, if the president elect, when they become president, if they don't have that same vision, then membership will not be the same. I'm looking. One of my past presidents is on the call, Butch Hughes, who is really keyed into membership. And what we've seen is that because of that, we are continuing because he had a team, and that team is continuing to grow our club. And so it is about teamwork. And I would say you could do it either way, but as long as you're going to take it back. But the big deal is that it is a group working together.
Okay.
Carol, you might want to think about the time too. 5 o'clock, I've got a lawyer, the president-elect, and a president that's trying to wrap up the day with the city. And so 5 o'clock, 5 to 5:30 is a tough time. Just because they've got big jobs and they're trying to wrap up their day and get home to their families. So I don't know what to do about that, but that's why I'm on today for Maggie and for Jameson. Yeah.
Okay.
Carol, I'd like to add something. To answer your initial question, I would really need to think a little more about what we can do to get more engagement from the membership chairs as well as the presidents on this meeting and future meetings. But one thing that our club did, and we actually did it starting this year, is our membership chairs. We have co-chairs. Our membership chairs is the past club president, as well as the president-elect. And the reason why we wanted to do that is the past president didn't want the club to lose any momentum from their year, and certainly the president-elect wanted to essentially increase momentum from the previous president's year. And we have found, especially this year, that is working very well. We've got, I believe, 3 new members as well as 3 new applications sitting on the table in a highly unusual year. And it's because that we've got these presidents, past and future, that are engaged and want to continue to grow the club.
That was also a killer formula for another club turnaround situation in the Greenville area, where a new president, business owner, looked at the situation and said, "We're going out of business here, guys." And I think he grew that club by something on the order of 30% that the year he was president, and then became membership chair for the follow-on year and kept that going.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to get away from, to be quite honest, I had a pretty, what I think is a pretty good workup of how we would go through the script for a Discover Rotary, but I'm looking at who I have in my audience, and I know Butch is the leader of Discover Rotary at our club. Renee, I think you do Discover Rotary for Newberry. Terry does Discover Rotary for the Greenville Club, And Rashika, do you all do Discover Rotary?
We've done it twice, I think 2 or 3 times, but yes, I've been a part of it 2 of those 3 times.
Right. And Jerry, I don't think the Emerald City's doing Discover Rotary. Y'all are taking the care team approach.
We
And the
are,
one-on-one?
and we are, and also we have been working with projects, trying to connect a member to a project to make sure that then both existing members and new potential members get to meet club members in doing something community. So we've got different projects that we're assigning people to and trying to get them to meet and at least have those, interactions that we normally wouldn't be able to have in a meeting or in one of our weekly meetings. So.
Mm-hmm. The engagement.
Right.
And Travis, did you say that y'all do Discover Rotary?
We have been doing it, but we have an updated version since we did the membership summit. We've not held one. To be really honest, our club's issue right now is the prospecting. We are having a trouble getting beyond the 2 or 3 people who have always done the prospecting and brought us potential candidates, and we're struggling this week. We don't know exactly what we're going to do, but John Kimball and I have met, and we're going to meet again and make an action plan.
Just to comment on that, Travis, what Discover Rotary does as an offering is it completely changes the ask. Well, you're no longer asking a member to tell the Rotary story. You're no longer asking a member to qualify a potential prospect. All you're asking them to do is bring somebody in at 11 o'clock and stay for lunch. We'll buy. And it's a completely different ask than what is a daunting thing to most Rotarians, which is bring us a buttoned up new member proposal form.
And that was the shift we did, and I personally made after your sessions this spring. And I have made that plea, and I've made that case, and I've talked to people one-on-one, and they're afraid. I don't know why they're afraid to make an ask and do that. It's like they're embarrassed to tell somebody they're a Rotarian. I mean, it's so weird to me.
At the root of that, this is a somewhat cynical assessment, but the fact is that if Rotarians were more sold on Rotary, they'd be more sold on bringing other people into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree.
I'd like to make a comment about a small club, if I could.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, this is Dan Rickerbaugh, North Augusta Rotary Club. And our club had grown more than double about 4 or 5 years ago. But in the last couple of years, it's really gone down. We've had some members that passed away. We've had some move to other areas because of jobs. And so we've seen a lot. As you always do, you see every year Rotary clubs decline. But it's really hard on small clubs. And then you throw on the COVID on top of that. So what we're struggling with now is, when a lot of members that are still on the books are not coming in person to our meeting, which we started back about a month ago at the Crown Plaza Hotel, in-person meetings. But we're having, 5, 6, 7 members come, and the other 13 or so are staying at home. And so, member engagement is part of the problem. And then how do you ask the speaker to come to speak to 5 or 6 people? And then you want to, ask them to bring a guest to such a small gathering. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on small clubs that are trying to get their membership back attending and get some momentum going to be able to bring in new members.
So Dan, are you all doing a hybrid, or you're just doing the in-person for those who will come?
No, we do in-person and set up the Zoom, because we were doing Zoom from March or so, whenever the shutdown was, through the summer. And then when we started back in person, we said, all right, we're going to continue the Zoom for those that don't want to come in person. But we've only had, two or three join on the Zoom as part of our, in-person meeting.
So that means you have about 10 that are just not engaged at all? Is that
That's right.
I'm trying to gauge. So have you all have reached out to them to find out if they're okay, if anything's going on, kind of making sure that they know you care about the fact that they're not engaged?
Yeah, to some degree, but I guess like somebody mentioned earlier tonight, that you have to figure out which ones respond to emails, which ones respond to text, some won't answer a call, you leave a voicemail and maybe there's no response. So, I mean, people are busy. So, I guess you got to figure out which communication avenue is the best way to approach it.
Well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I really believe that right now it is extremely important for us to reach out, because go back to something that Governor Beth said a few minutes ago. What I'm most fearful of come the end of or around December, people are going to go, well, we hadn't seen these 5 people and they haven't paid, so goodbye. And we haven't made the overture to say to them, kind of why or what's going on, or we care about you, or something that lets them know that they are important to Rotary, because I think so many times we've let people kind of just fade away without them knowing that they are an important part of Rotary.
Right.
And so, and so the good thing on this call is that we have people from varying sizes, and I'm looking at Jane, and Jane is the president of one of our largest clubs in the district. And I'm just curious, Jane, what kind of things I know you have so many members, what kinds of things are you all doing?
Yes, I'd like to say I'm thrilled that we have so many members, but tragically we have lost a lot of members. And so, of course, that is very sad. But like you said, we offered grants for people who would not be able to pay, and so they ended up paying half, and the club ended up paying half. And then, of course, thanks to the No Rotarian Left Behind, that certainly helped. But at the beginning of after the COVID happened, we started contacting all our members just to make sure early on that they knew that we were in touch. We did something in August and September that I had done 2 years ago as a membership chairman, which was very successful then, but not so much now, contacting everybody who had visited the club in the 2 years prior to invite them to Discover Rotary or some activity. I know that I have one person coming to Discover Rotary, and then another one of our members who had not done for a lot in the last few years. We asked him to call, and he called, and he came to one of our events this week and said that he feels like we should polish off his Rotary pen because he's becoming more involved. So just asking someone to help make calls has been good. As far as membership goes, we have a plan for October, and then we're doing retention activities by calling everybody that hasn't been to an event in 6 months in November. And then we're doing a surprise effort to let everybody know we care about them in December. We've been doing all Zoom meetings until last Tuesday night, which is normally our fall fellowship. And we had small groups of no more than 13. We called it our Rotary 13 on October the 13th. And the 4 groups that we had, everybody had a blast. Everybody was so thrilled to see Rotarians again, to meet people that they had not known before. So that was very effective. We also have our 2 meetings. We have 2 small group Zoom events. One's networking at noon, and the other is peace and conflict resolution, which is that we have a topic. Immigration was the last one. I missed it. Policing was one prior. So they're pretty intense, but it's definitely a way of us learning to talk to each other. We also have had a virtual social every month. And this coming Our next meeting, we're having our first hybrid meeting, thanks to Terry and all those people that are making that happen. But luckily for us, it's our annual teacher appreciation. So I think that there'll be a lot of people, because as everybody knows, our teachers are definitely our heroes now. So we have luckily for us, we have a great membership committee. And so we have some people working on retention, some people working on attraction. It is certainly more difficult than we would like, but we are keeping at it and just trying to offer something for everybody, keep people engaged and know that we care, reaching out to potential new members and trying to do everything we can.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, one other thing our club did when we went through all these various communication efforts and we still could not make contact, we brainstormed who do they sit next to at normal meetings or who brought them to the club, and we asked that person to make contact, and they seemed to answer the phone or text when they had that one-on-one connection, and they would blow me off.
Oh, okay.
So you might
All
go
right.
that route as a last resort too.
Sure. Okay. Appreciate it.
Carol, this is Beth. If you'll let me just interject, I don't want to hijack the meeting, but it seems like you've already decided that we're not going to go over Discover Rotary script, if I'm reading you correctly, because most of the people on here do Discover Rotary.
Right.
So I think the discussion that is just sort of organically popping up tonight is one of the values of this. And Renee, I think it's one of the values of having more than one person from a club on this. And that is the both the spontaneity of the ideas, hearing them from various clubs, but also going back to your club. And this is what I highly recommend, and this is what I used when I was a club president. A lot of clubs fall in the habit where the president's responsible for membership, or the membership chair is responsible for membership, or something like that. And if ever we needed a team approach in every club, this is the year we need that, with several people around the table talking about the best ideas, and also to play on what both Travis said and Jane said, customizing the ideas you hear for your own club. And it's just sometimes different minds hear things different ways, and the idea strikes a different person a different way. And so, and I say all that as someone who is also zoomed out most days by about this time. And so we want to be respectful of people's time. We want this to be valuable. And I think with more people on here willing to talk, and maybe we need to do it in smaller groups, but just the sharing ideas, the spontaneity of ideas, and the ability of different people in a club to hear different things, take it back, and then not try to one person implement it, but different people talk about how does this work best with the Newberry Club? How does this work best with the North Augusta Club? All sorts of things like that. And those things can help each club find a way to jumpstart and just to be honest, what I said at the beginning, most clubs have not taken in a single new member in our district. And that concerns me, because most clubs ended the year with a significant decline. And I want Rotary in all these communities in the western half of South Carolina that Rotary was in and doing so much good work over the past 10, 20, 30, 40, in some cases, 100 years.
Absolutely. And again, I'm not, and my greatest fear is wasting people's time. And so, but when I noted that we had a lot of people that are already doing Discover Rotary, I didn't want to bore you. And I was hoping, as using the term that the governor used, that we could have some organic conversation where you would feel like your input is valuable, because I am pretty sure I've already written down several notes that I want to share with my president. So I feel like that you can pick up things, but there are a few people that we haven't heard from. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I just want to make sure that Darren or Candace, if you want to talk about anything that your club is doing that you think would be valuable to the entire group.
I'd be glad to. This is Candace Wyman. I'm with the Indian Land Lunch Club. Can you hear me okay? I'm using a
Yes.
new earbud
Yes.
situation. Okay, great, super. So, of course, we're only just a little over a year old. So, and so far this year, we have grown already from 22 to 27. Sadly, we have borrowed a few folks from the core Indian Land Club. So it's hard not to apologize for that, except it's just, you know, different things work for different people. But our biggest challenge right now, because we're still in a growth phase, and I think we can hit 30 this year. I think there's only one of our current members that may be risky right now in terms of going the distance with us through next June. We're meeting virtually as of April. We went hybrid in June or July. And I'd say of the people who attend the meeting, probably half, a third to half still join us virtually, and about half meet at a restaurant. Our biggest challenge right now, I think, is really keeping a quality experience for those who really have to stay virtual. We have people with health issues, or they're on the road all day and so call in on their cell phone. And so that's probably our biggest challenge right now, to keep that quality experience going. We already have mentors assigned to new members, you know, we have follow-ups, we have some social events, and so that all is working okay for us. But I'm very concerned, particularly since we're in Indian Land and a suburb of Charlotte, and we've got a lot of new people coming into the area, that the virtual access will be very important, especially for the younger professionals, so that they can sit at their desk and grab a sandwich and join us. I know, Tara, you've done a lot of really good work with your guide, but our physical meeting venue is very challenging. So I guess all I would say is, if anybody has any tips that have been really successful for you in keeping that virtual experience a quality experience, where you would want to invite somebody to, because it looks like we'll stay hybrid, to be honest. We're not going to go back all to Zoom. Frankly, to be honest, that's sort of my preference, because in a lot of ways it's easier. But there are a lot of people, and we are zoomed out. So I accept that we'll need to keep doing that. But tips to really enhance the quality of that experience so that people want to dial in.
Right.
That's my plea.
So anybody want to share with Candace how to make the virtual a quality experience?
Well, this is a little bit like the Flying Walendes working with no net.
Yeah.
But the fourth Tuesday is our first hybrid meeting of the Greenville Club. We've had one rehearsal, we'll have a second one. And our performance expectation is the same as anybody who's looking at something on a screen, which is broadcast TV. Now, with the tools we have, of course, we're not going to take on WYFF in an award-winning contest, but seriously, we are doing our best to bring the hybrid audience into the meeting, to take the meeting out to the hybrid audience, and really make it a two-way sort of deal. You're welcome to participate in that. If you go to the DACDB calendar, our club meeting is on the calendar. You're welcome to register for it virtually, no charge for that. And if you'd like to have a watch, you're welcome to it. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I think the fourth Tuesday at 11 will be our best shot at delivering a quality hybrid meeting. It involves 2 laptops, 2 operators, one participating in the meeting itself, handling the audio visuals and supporting the speaker. We'll have a couple of videos and that sort of thing as part of the Teacher of the Year. And a second person then managing the virtual experience for the remote audience and keeping that going.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. I do think that having dedicated people who don't have to think about anything except the tech stuff is critical. I have recommended that in our membership plan, which you won't get today, but you'll get it shortly.
Yay.
Anything else?
Well,
I'll say, I've spoken to 2 clubs, yours and Candace, your club, and I thoroughly enjoyed being there. but both of those clubs that were hybrid clubs, it was hard on me as the speaker to stay where I could be seen by the laptop that was taking my picture and hopefully being heard, because I was afraid if I stepped away too far, then they were not going to be able to hear me. So that's something to think about, is when you have a live person and they're speaking to 20 people out in the audience live, it's hard to remember you've also got this other group online, and if you don't have a microphone or a camera that's following you, or glue my feet to the floor, it's really hard.
Now, on the audio part, I will say that since I think you met with us, we have now a dual remote mic situation set up.
Oh, good.
The challenge with that is it takes discipline for somebody out on the floor to actually carry the thing around and make sure that people use it. So I think we've gotten over at least the technical part of that. I think the video is still dreadful, to be honest. So that's one that I think the audio, frankly, is more important than the video for the for the participants at this point. We'll try to eat the elephant one bite at a time. But I think if we can get somebody to make sure they stay on the microphone and make sure they carry it around the room, so we can have that interaction, I think we will fix that. But I appreciate your feedback very much, because yes, I have been concerned not just about the member experience, but also the speaker experience. Probably the best scenario is when the speaker joins us on Zoom, which several have, and then that all seems to work pretty well. But when the speaker's in the room, it's tough.
Can I take this to in a different, with the experience thing, in a different question? And Jane alluded a little bit to what I'm going to ask about, but for those people that are not getting out, what kind of experience, Jane, I'd be interested in. It sounded like you got something special planned for December. Is it a secret, or can you share?
Well, my club doesn't even know about it yet. It will be a way to let, and of course, I've read that especially during this time, during the holidays, for people who are, they need to stay in for their own personal safety or safety of a family person, that this would be a great time for us to do something tangible, small but tangible, for them to know that we really do care about them, we're thinking about them, and that they are important to Rotary. So that's the lines I'm going on.
And along that line, then my next kind of layered question is, in this COVID time, what kind of service projects, because that's a real engagement piece, what have you been able to do?
Well, the first, let's see, July we did a food bank, and so we had a drive-by, drop off your food thing. And was it August? 1 month we did Clean the Park, where everybody came, and it was postponed till September. It was supposed to be August, but it was postponed because of the weather till September. So we did Clean the Park, social distance, wear your mask. And we connected with the city of Greenville. So I think we had about 24 Rotarians and maybe 20 or 30 community volunteers. So that was really fun for us to get to meet other people. So that was great. And then we did our Happy Feet, where we buy the shoes. So this year what we did, this was just our second year. The first year, the thrill of it was the Rotarians got to go with the kids to buy their shoes, which was super fun. But this year, what we did is the Rotarians just stayed outside for the most part, and the children went in with their parent or guardian to select their shoes. And then October, we think we did we're doing, which I love, it is, and Beth has done this already. We are virtually reading books, and we're working with the school district, and they told us, they gave us, I don't know the name of it, but we read them, we video them. You can either go to the Rotary office and we have books available and Michelle videos you, or you can do it at home, which is what I've done. I just get the book virtually and read it and tape it or video it, and I'll upload that. So we're reading the books virtually, uploading them to a area that the school gave us to do it, and they gave us the list of books to choose from. So that's our October plan. And November, we're doing, we did it last year. We do the meals for students at Alexander, which, you know, we've kind of adopted. So that's our November
Yes.
project.
Right. Thank you, Jane. What other kinds of service projects have you all been doing? And Jack Aiden has joined us, and I'm going to call on him in a few minutes to talk about what they're doing for Pints for Polio. So Jack, don't leave us before I get to you. Any other service projects anyone wants to share? Yes, Candace. Oh, you're muted. Unmute. Candace, we can't hear you. Okay,
Sorry
you're
about
unmuted.
that. Yes.
That's okay.
So we just had a fundraiser. We raised over $6,000, but the primary goal was, I know it's incredible for us. We do plan to refurbish 4 large playgrounds at the local elementary school. And we're going to have a work day coming up in the next couple of weeks. A member has a Bobcat that they're willing to help us schlep all the mulch around, and they'll be redoing the decking on a lot of the equipment. So I look forward to that as an opportunity for members to really get together outside, you know, working together. And other than that, we have some routine things of donations to Department of Social Services and things like that. So, and we'll do the Christmas gifts to several of the needy children that they have.
So Butch, what have you been doing lately for Rotary?
Who, me?
No, I was Butch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you, Candace.
We have what we're doing several things in our partnership with United Way and the focus on Homeland Park Primary School that has 411 students. We are first of all the principal for this particular school, which is
We're losing you.
many of the students don't have socks, you know, that they'll come with, you know. And so we have, right now we are collecting socks, new socks for 4K, 5K, and first and second graders. And probably at the last count, Carol, don't we have probably about 600, 700 pair of socks, I think, that we've collected that we're going to be giving to the principals next week, since they are speaking at our Rotary Club. And they're having a spectacular where in the parking lot they're gonna have a drive-by for all the students and their parents to come and collect candies. And so we have, they anticipate we should have enough candies for 1,000. We've probably got 2,000 worth of candies that we've collected that our Rotary members have gone out and done. So there's, we're trying to support the school in any way possible. Through reading, we've handed out books to the candies, to the socks. We have also done a birthday party for the students that had birthdays in August and September, and we will do it again in November for those that are having October and November birthday parties. So we're trying to make it as fun as possible. And actually our Rotary Club has really gotten involved and gotten their arms around this in helping this primary school. So it's keeping us busy.
Yes, it is, and it's great fun. So I know that I am running up against the time that I gave Terry Weaver for this. So I'm appreciating all of you that have shared, because I hope that no one is going to walk away and go, I didn't learn anything this evening. I hope you've picked up an idea. You've been inspired by what your fellow clubs are doing and how you might steal one of their really good ideas. But Jack Aiden is on. Jack, tell them what your club is doing next week for Pints for Polio.
Yeah, Carol, we are extremely fortunate that in Westminster, a couple who are members of our club have Magnolia Manor Bed and Breakfast. It is rated the 4th best wedding venue in the state of South Carolina. And I say that because there is a large covered outside pavilion that has allowed us to come back together as a club. Just really great. I mean, we were able to socially distance. We're covered. The weather's been great. So this idea came up for a business after hours reception. And we have sent out, I don't know, maybe 200 to 250 invitations by snail mail to all of the businesses and to people who our members knew that they would enjoy this. So we're going to have pints for polio. We're going to have ice cream pints for polio. And of course, we can't leave out wine. We're going to have a wine for polio. And we're going to be selling 5 tickets for $25. And we're going to do a short presentation on Rotary's emphasis on polio and what our successes have been. But of course, we're also going to use this as a recruiting tool by getting the contact information from everyone who shows up. You never know about something like this, whether it'll be a smashing success or whether it'll fall on its nose. But we felt like with the venue that we have, that we can do this so easily, and people who come there go, oh, yeah, okay, this is great. So we're prayerfully hopeful that this is going to work, and we'll let you know.
Great. We can't wait to hear, Jack. Thank you for sharing. Terry, I'm going to give you the last 10 minutes for you to talk about alternative clubs.
Thank you, Carol. Let me get my screen share clicked on here. There we are. We have a membership strategy within District 7750 that I'm the sub-chair of. This is a subcommittee of the membership committee that Carol chairs. And this is really about some more innovative approaches to club structures and innovative approaches to membership. Here's the situation, and with notable exceptions, some of them a couple of your clubs, but by and large, if you just look at it in the light of day, most Rotary clubs in our district, if you look at a 5-year or 10-year window, most clubs have not meaningfully grown. Now, I'll say again, we have some notable exceptions of clubs that have literally grown almost every year in the past decade, but that's not the norm. And I learned also in traveling this district, not to mention working with districts all the way to Pennsylvania from here, that there is a sizable culture in most clubs that our club is just the right size. Everything is just fine here. And of course, that means clubs range from, in our district, 14 to 225 members, but they're all just about the right size. So I've concluded that clubs are mostly satisfied to almost maintain their current size. And by almost, I mean that if you look at, again, the data, clubs will stop 1 or 2 short of maintaining their size from year to year, and therefore, in the long term, decline in membership. So if most clubs don't want to grow and others naturally shrink, we'll see declining Rotary presence in this district for a long time. That's probably not where we want to be. Now, here's something else that is even a bigger factor, I think, than that. And that is that populations and demographics have actually moved from where we are, and they've moved from lunch as the dominant meeting venue of Rotary clubs. Rotary clubs have been meeting for lunch for 115 years. And in recent years, we've seen breakfast clubs, we've seen evening clubs, but still in our district, as most, the dominant meeting time is noon on a weekday. So I believe we need to find a way to establish some new clubs that meet in different places and at different times of day. It's both about place and it's about meeting time, and also, frankly, about meals. I believe in our Rotary careers in general, probably within even mine, we will see a meal meeting club strategy become the less than dominant model. I think Rotary clubs will move away from meeting for meals. There are just so many things that puts in the way, including about 2/3 of the cost of most Rotary clubs. So I wanted to show you a little illustration here. This is a relatively cute little video. I hope you enjoy it, and see what you think about this.
As Rotary, we often ask ourselves, how do we grow? Personally, professionally, and organizationally? The answer is simple. To grow Rotary, we need more Rotary clubs. Let's use Anytown as an example. Anytown is a city of 100,000 people and home to one proud Rotary club. But there are hundreds of other people of action, just like us, who are uniquely qualified to become Rotary members. They share the same drive and represent the values and fundamentals of a Rotary member. So why aren't they members? Well, the current club meets on Monday. There are leaders in Anytown who can't meet on a Monday. By excluding this segment, the potential members in Anytown has shrunk. Now consider, what if the meeting is at noon on Monday? There are people who can meet on Monday, but can't meet at noon. So now we have a smaller audience for Rotary in Anytown. Of the remaining group, some aren't interested in a club with a sit-down lunch and speakers. They are passionate about service, but aren't interested in a traditional club experience. And that is okay. The Rotary Club of Anytown isn't doing anything wrong. It just doesn't appeal to particular segments of the community. And if we're going to thrive for years to come, we must adapt and embrace change. In Anytown, we have an opportunity to expand because potential members are everywhere. More than half of the eligible people are prospective Rotary members, waiting to make a bigger impact in their community. But what Rotary Club exists for them? If Anytown creates new clubs at new times and new places, the hidden potential for Rotary will be revealed. As people of action, we must broaden our reach and provide opportunities to all leaders in the community. Together, all of us can grow Rotary.
So the idea of expanding Rotary includes expanding Rotary clubs. As all of you well know, we have had a new club emerge in District 7750 on average every 3 to 4 years, which is not nearly enough. The Council on Legislation in 2016 approved this idea of a satellite club. A satellite Rotary club is an extension of your own Rotary club. They're actually a member of your conventional, shall we say, legacy club, but they typically meet at an alternate time. They typically meet at an alternate place. And that includes workplace meeting locations. That includes people meeting at large plant locations. A Rotary club got started in Washington, D.C., literally. They're up to about 40 members within a couple of months by sending one email through the World Bank. Sent one email through the World Bank, said, would you be interested in being part of a Rotary Club? And of course, there's thousands of people that work there, and a relatively small handful of them said yes. Now, here's the deal, folks. We actually reach only about 1% of the population. But more than that, we only reach about 1% of the population within about 15 miles of where our clubs meet. So we have a very, very limited geography, a very limited reach in terms of footprint. And of course, then we also have this thing of meeting at whatever time we meet. meaning that those other people who want to meet at breakfast time or those other people that want to meet after hours are basically left out of the prospect base. Alternate demographic types, young professionals, English as a second language, non-English speaking clubs, cause-based clubs, clubs interested in veterans issues or environmental issues, social justice issues. These clubs are popping up all over our zone, and it's probably a good strategy for us to look at their success and say, what could we do to extend our geographic reach and to appeal to some of these other demographics, people that would like to be part of Rotary, and also say that the dominant new club meeting time is after hours. The dominant new club meeting time is 5:30, typically meeting in a place where they have food, but not with food service as a part of the meeting framework itself. Of course, what that does is it takes about 2/3 of the cost out as well. Now, you probably say, well, gee, don't those people stick around? Yeah, a lot of them do stick around, have a burger, have a beer, but they don't include that as part of their cost of being in Rotary. They include that as part of their monthly bar bill. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic, but it's certainly proving itself out in other districts. The districts in our zone that are growing are all doing it using this strategy, new clubs. So I'll be happy to stop and take questions. I realize we're awfully close to the hour here as well.
Any questions for Terry? I spoke with Terry earlier this week. We're going to also try to include in these each month some other places in the zone, either their videos about what they're doing or having them do Zoom with us, so that you can actually hear from some of the success stories around the zone. Thank you so much, Terry. We really appreciate it. I want to make sure that I am going to be respectful of your time. And I want to thank you for being on the call. I know we diverted from our original agenda. I hope it was helpful that you heard from some folks that are doing things differently and that gave you some ideas. The thing that I want to leave with you is that all of you are important to Rotary. Your Rotary Club is important to Rotary, not because Rotary just wants more people, but because what you are doing is making a difference in your community. That's why Rotary clubs are important. And that's why the more people we have in Rotary, the more we can do to make our communities better. So I'm going to leave you with that and say, go have a great rest of the evening. And I look forward to seeing you in November. And I'm going to work on getting more people on our call for that. In the third Thursday, and that means, do I have to send y'all some tequila to get you on, or whatever I have to do? We're going to make sure. And it is November the 19th. With just a really quick show of hands, do you think it would be better if we went to 5:30 to give people a minute to get off work? I'm looking for heads shaking. 5:30. I've got some that are not shaking. We will work on it. I do see a few that say that might work better. We'll work on that. I will get with Governor Beth and we'll make a decision. But thank you. Have a great rest of the evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Jane, I haven't dropped out of Rotary.
That's a good thing, but did you have a happy birthday?
I did. And I'm continuing it in a few minutes too. Because you don't just celebrate one night.
No, you celebrate for a year.
That's right.
So I'm going out for pizza with some friends tonight. So yeah, I had a good birthday yesterday and today. So,
Okay.
see y'all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Carol, you saw for me that 5:30 worked a whole lot better than 5. So,
Well,
but you know, I'm retired, so 5 or 5:30 works for me. I'll just try to be less tardy next time.
Jack, can I ask you a question?
Thank you.
Sure.
Carol, you might want to put into this too. This event that you're having, how many people are you expecting?
We have no idea.
Well, let's say you have 100 people. Are you expecting that many? 50?
Yes, we are. Yes.
So are you concerned about social distancing while people are drinking and eating?
Not not in this facility, or not in this pavilion. It's a pavilion that is meant for large weddings.
Right. I mean, I realize that it's big.
Right.
I'm concerned about people coming in, having good intentions, and then blowing it all off.
Right. And that's certainly a possibility, Jane, but we can't, as a club, especially since we lost 8 members on July the 1st, we can't cower in the corner over this thing. And I don't see people getting up in each other's faces and hugging and all of that. I just don't see it. But we were in a crisis mode on July the 1st to go from a club that had 37 members 2 years ago to a club that had 22 on July the 1st. So as I said in my remarks, this thing may fall completely on its face. What do you mean we're getting together for, a social event? But our club cannot wait for things to get better. We need energy. We need new members. We didn't have a president-elect last year. Nobody stepped up. So thankfully, our club president from last year said, okay, I'm not going to sacrifice this club, which in 8 years will have its 100th anniversary. We're going to take action. And whether this action next Thursday night works or not, we had to do it, Jane. We just had to do it.
I was just curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to deal with that. Because we had our first small group thing and everybody stayed, because we had a big area. And so everybody put their chairs about.
Sure.
Mhm.
I was just curious. I mean, I'm just looking for the perfect solution to this whole thing.
And I heard a report today that the airlines, because you know how desperate they are, they have been doing tests, putting sneezing robots on their test flights and trying to measure how far the droplets go. And they concluded that if they continue to insist that their passengers wear masks, that there's virtually no chance of you catching the virus on an airplane. So my feeling is, whether it's meetings or whether this event that we're having, if people socially distance, and certainly you don't want to sneeze in anybody's face ever, regardless of what's going on, that people are gonna be okay.
Well, I'm going to do my best to be there, Jack.
Well, I understand that you're doing training, so
Yeah.
it's 5 to 7, and so.
If I can see, it's for a big grant that we not that big, but big enough for us that feel like. But if I can sneak out a little bit early, I'm gonna head to Westminster.
I know your heart's in the right place, and so we've just got our fingers crossed because we need for it to be a success.
I'm gonna be looking forward to it if I can.
Carol, I'll mention one other thing that I did that is very interesting is I started off doing a video every Monday and sending it out via text just of what's going on, because we have so many people who don't read any emails at all.
Right.
And it's so funny because very few people read it, but there's one guy who was very negative. He was sure we were going to lose half our club, and he thinks those videos are the greatest thing to ever happen. I'm going to one, but
that's great.
You just don't know.
Right. You just have to try. I mean, this is one of those times you just got to try a lot of different things.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for having this. It was really good. I'm glad you did not make, because I have heard, and I think Discover Rotary is a great thing,
Yep.
but I have heard
You
that.
ladies have a great night.
Thank you. Well, what I was going to do with it today was totally different than what you've seen in the past. I was going to help people create and answer the things that they would need to be able to tell about their club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When most people have already that were on the call are already involved with that, that would have been a disaster. And I try to be cognizant of my audience.
And you do a great job. You really do. Thank you. I
Thank
will
you.
say the Melissa and them have really done a good job. And this is just me and you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Faith's here, but yeah.
Oh, Faith, I trust you.
Yeah.
My concern about Terry has come forth because people just don't like people whose jobs right now are twice as hard because they're marketing. They cannot have somebody tell you what to do. And so
I got this. I get it.
So I was just Terry hijacked a meeting we had of the whole membership thing, talking about these alternative clubs, which is great. But right now that's number 2,000 on our list of important things. Right. And so I had to Google, how do you keep somebody from hijacking your meeting? There are ways, but she felt the same way. And so recently something's come up and I just told Terry that if he has any comments, questions, or concerns about membership to send it to me.
Right.
So just.
Well, what I'm trying to do, and Beth and I've talked about it, I'm trying to create the style that fits me. And he is part of the team, but I want the rest of it to be about how I can help.
Because you have the thing that matters is how do people feel, and you make people feel like they're involved, they're important, what they say is important. It is. You engage people, and it's really hard when you're dealing with an element that is not that way.
I got it.
So anyway, so you know where we are, but he was definitely on to this alternative club thing, which is great, but it is not on my radar.
Yeah. Well, I just want you to know that your club's inspiration from your adoption of Alexander Elementary is what we're doing with our little school is going to change our club in a way that nothing else ever could. It's all because I knew what y'all were doing.
Yes, it is, like you say, and it's so uplifting to know that we are helping these kids. So it's brought huge, and I'll say the other thing, I think that has brought tremendous energy to our club. And the diversity breakfast that you spoke at. So at my small group Tuesday night, there was a Black woman there who brought up things in just general conversation that would never have ever been discussed. So it is really a great thing. So we appreciate that.
Well, I've said to a lot of people, what we're doing at Homeland Park Primary School is we're rocking the world to those little kids. And that's what we want to do.
Exactly.
And I thank y'all for the inspiration.
Well, Scott Powell, it was all Scott Powell's doing.
Well,
so that's great. Faith, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Jane. How about you?
I am doing very well. I know you and I are on the same page for November the 3rd.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I can't hear you anymore.
I said, when are you running again?
When am I going to run?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If South Carolina turns around, you never know what might happen.
You never know, do you?
You never know. Even Carol might join our team by the end of the
day. Now doubt it.
I'm sorry, Betty.
But it's interesting times, that's for sure. That's for sure. But I can't quite hear you.
I said Jeff Duncan.
I just heard the Jeff Duncan. I can only imagine what came after that.
But I think this is the last time he's going to run.
Good.
Yep, that's what I've heard, at least. I could be wrong, but I heard that the other day.
Why? What a cushy job.
Well, I think there's some political moving that's happening because I don't think that Tim Scott's going to run for his Senate seat again.
And Jeff Duncan is?
I didn't say that. I just said that I heard he's not running for his own seat.
Oh my goodness.
Things do kind of, who knows? But anyway. Well, I just want to say that I really appreciate all that you're doing, and we're I told Beth if we can't have a year like we did last year, I'm going to jump off a cliff and kill myself. So anyway, I'm going to just keep doing what I feel like that we should do, and that is to support the clubs and listen, care, and support, and
Yes.
we can make this work.
Yes.
And Faith is my hero.
Faith is everybody's hero.
That's right. Yep. That's it.
Well, thank you both so much, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.